Good morning, students. So, how are you guys? Welcome back once again to live coaching classes hosted by Board of Studies ICAI. So, students, कैसा रहा आपका long weekend? Yes, students, कैसा रहा आपका long weekend? Hope you would have enjoyed and tried to study a little bit also. आपने मॉड्यूल्स खोले होंगे शायद 2-3 घंटे के लिए. So students, we are in the last leg of chapter 1, nature, objective and scope of audit. In last session, students, we were doing about assurance engagements, and we had understood about 5 elements of assurance engagements. हमने उनको डिटेल में किया था. So students, can you once again repeat what are those 5 elements of assurance engagement? क्या आपको याद है? No, Karan, this is fourth lecture. क्या आपको याद है स्टूडेंट्स 5 एलिमेंट्स एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट के कौन से हैं? अगर आपको याद है तो आप प्लीज मेल करें. No, Sangeeta practitioner is not different from auditor. It is used in a general sense, whereas auditor is specific to auditing. Practitioner is used in a general sense for all assurance engagements. Okay, yes, all the 5, right? All the 5. देखें ताकि आपको कितना याद है स्टूडेंट्स. Yes, 3-party relationship. That's good. 3-party relationship, appropriate subject matter, suitable criteria, yes, sufficient appropriate evidence, written assurance report in appropriate form. Yes, Divya. So students, we had understood that auditing is an assurance engagement, and it is a reasonable assurance engagement. So क्या besides this, whether there is some another kind of? Yes. So one of such assurance engagement is review. So this is a new term. तो स्टूडेंट्स अभी तक आप ऑडिट के बारे में समझ रहे थे. नाउ कम्स ए न्यू टर्म विच इज ए रिव्यू. तो स्टूडेंट्स आपको सिर्फ इंटरमीडिएट लेवल पे सिर्फ इसका मतलब समझना है. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड इट्स ओनली मीनिंग. आपको डिटेलिंग में नहीं जाना, सिर्फ आपको इसका मीनिंग अंडरस्टैंड करना है. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड इट्स मीनिंग ओनली. सो we will now try to understand what is the meaning of review and how does it differ from audit. Okay, clear? So is that clear? We shall only be trying to understand what is the differentiating factor between audit and review. What are the points of difference between audit and review, and what is the meaning of review? We have already understood the meaning of audit very well. So review students provides a level of assurance which is lower than that provided by audit. Now what does audit provide? Audit provides reasonable assurance. Okay, remember, you had understood that audit provides reasonable assurance, and reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance. Now, what does review provide? Review also provides assurance, but it only provides moderate level of assurance. It provides assurance which is lower than that provided by audit. So you have to understand that review is also a sort of assurance engagement. तो स्टूडेंट्स ये बेसिक डिफरेंस आपको दोनों के बीच में समझना है. दिस बेसिक डिफरेंस between the two terms, between audit and review, you have to understand. Number one, that audit provides reasonable assurance, whereas review provides moderate level of assurance. Now, reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, whereas moderate assurance is a lower level of assurance as compared to audit. Okay, so review, how do we use review? Say students, when suppose a client asks practitioner to review its financial statements for interim period, say for a quarter, for a half year, then he does not perform a full-fledged audit. Okay, then he does not perform a full-fledged audit, he performs a review. Okay, so what is the general meaning of review? English dictionary meaning of review: to go through the things. So you can understand it this way, that he goes through the financial statements and performs some procedures which are not as vast or as elaborate as these are in case of audit, but by performing those procedures he gains certain satisfaction and gives his report, providing a moderate level of assurance to the users. Okay, that he says that I have gone through the statements, I have reviewed them, and then he expresses his conclusion. Okay, so remember that review, number one, review is a type of assurance engagement. Number two, review provides only moderate level of assurance, which is lower than reasonable assurance. And obviously, since it provides lower level of assurance, it must involve fewer procedures, isn't it? जो चीज आपको कम एश्योरेंस, कम कंफर्ट प्रोवाइड कर रही है यूजर्स को, उसमें प्रोसीजर्स भी प्रैक्टिशनर्स ने कम किए होंगे, तभी तो वो कम एश्योरेंस प्रोवाइड कर रही है. क्लियर स्टूडेंट्स? बेसिक. नो नैन्सी, टुडे वी वुड बी कंप्लीटिंग दिस चैप्टर 1. सो क्लियर स्टूडेंट्स, ऑडिट और रिव्यू के बीच में डिफरेंस आपको समझ आ गया? इज द बेसिक डिफरेंस क्लियर टू यू? और आपको इतना ही अंडरस्टैंड करना है इंटरमीडिएट लेवल पे. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस मच. इज दैट क्लियर स्टूडेंट्स? तो देखें नाउ व्हाट इज इन योर मॉड्यूल. So meaning of review: audit versus review. Okay, so audit is a reasonable assurance engagement, it provides reasonable assurance. However, review is a limited assurance engagement because it provides a limited assurance, therefore it is a limited assurance engagement. Although it is assurance engagement, but it is a limited assurance engagement. Okay, It provides lower level of assurance than audit. Further review involves fewer procedures and gather sufficient appropriate evidence on the basis of which limited conclusions can be drawn up. So, although review involves fewer procedures, but it also gathers sufficient appropriate evidence. You have to understand this. It is only on the basis of sufficient appropriate evidence that a reviewer expresses limited conclusion. Why it is so? Because sufficient appropriate evidence is one of the key elements of assurance engagements, and review engagement is a sort of is a type of assurance engagement. So clear, guys? Yes, Komal, all the mails are being received. Please do not worry about all these things. So now we will also understand what is the difference between reasonable assurance engagement and limited assurance engagement. So reasonable assurance engagement में क्या होता है? It provides high level of assurance, and limited assurance reasonable assurance engagement provides high level of assurance, and limited assurance engagement provides what? Lower level of assurance than reasonable assurance engagement. Okay. Reasonable assurance engagement performs elaborate and extensive procedures to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence, whereas limited assurance engagement performs fewer procedures. Like students, you would be reading in subsequent chapters that when an auditor conducts audit, he performs different procedures, a variety of procedures, like inspection, like observing some process, observing something, like inquiry, like sending external confirmation requests. So these are all type of procedures which are performed by an auditor, which you would be studying in subsequent chapters. But in limited assurance engagement, the practitioner only performs fewer procedures, mainly inquiry and some other kind of procedures. And on the basis of those limited procedures, he gathers sufficient appropriate evidence and provides limited assurance. Okay. So Vishal, you are again asking about historical financial information. I have explained 3-4 times in last lectures about this. So again, I am explaining about historical financial information. After that, I will not explain. So historical financial information means that information pertaining to the events or transactions which have occurred in past. जो बैलेंस शीट बनती है, जो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बनती हैं, these contain the information relating to events that have occurred in past. So that is historical information. Like sales have taken place already, auditor is seeing them afterwards. Probably you have not seen previous lectures, Vishal. No, Madhav, review engagement cannot be done by internal auditor. So why you guys are after internal auditor? So we shall be studying about internal audit when it comes in your syllabus. Yes, Sarvanshu, yes, comparison is invariance. So in reasonable assurance engagement, it draws reasonable conclusion on the basis of sufficient appropriate evidence. Whereas in case of limited assurance engagement, only limited conclusions are drawn, but on the basis of sufficient appropriate evidence. So you have to differentiate this point, that in both the cases, in both audit and in review, the practitioner gathers sufficient appropriate evidence. But in case of reasonable assurance engagement, reasonable conclusions are drawn, but in case of limited assurance engagement, limited conclusions are drawn. And audit is an example of reasonable assurance engagement, and review is an example of what? It is an example of limited assurance engagement. Swati, peer review के बारे में you would be studying in your finals. Okay. Clear, students? Difference is clear to you between audit and review, between reasonable assurance engagement and limited assurance engagement? Is that clear to you? So besides this, there is another kind of assurance engagement, students, which relates to prospective financial information. Prospective means occurring in future, okay, and which has not occurred in the past. So before going further, take a look at this chart, student. So assurance engagement, this we are seeing broad category of assurance engagements. So one kind is reasonable assurance engagement, which you have already understood. Example of it is audit. Another kind is limited assurance engagement. So limited assurance engagement, example of which is review. So this is first kind, this is second kind. And there is third kind of assurance engagement also, dealing on matters other than historical financial information, other than, which are not connected with historical financial information. Now remember guys, these both things, reasonable assurance engagement and limited assurance engagement, these both things deal with the historical financial information. Isn't it true? When you are auditing financial statements, you are dealing with the historical financial information, which is there in the financial statements, which is there in the balance sheet, which is there in the profit and loss. These events have already occurred in the past. The transactions have already taken place in the past. That is why we say that reasonable assurance engagements and limited assurance engagements both deal with historical financial information. Now there is another third category of assurance engagement which deals with matters other than historical financial information. So the matters which are not connected with historical financial information. So such assurance engagements could be in the form of examining prospective financial information. Now remember this word, prospective financial information, which is connected with some projections to happen in past, some forecast in future, sorry, and some forecasts to happen in future. Or on the operation of the internal controls of an organization. So both these things are not do not deal with historical financial information. These deal with matters which are different from historical financial information. These deal with matters which are different from historical financial information, and these engagement deal with information other than historical financial information, like prospective financial information, like providing assurance on the controls, on the internal controls in the organization. Okay, so these are the three categories. These are the three categories of assurance engagements. Clear, students? So now we deal more with the prospective financial information. So always, whenever you try to understand prospective financial information, compare this with historical financial information. Okay, so it would be better for you to understand it and to derive some conclusion from it. So prospective financial information, students, it is financial information based upon on the assumptions about events that may occur in the future. Now students, एक एक वर्ड को आपको इसका ध्यान से समझना है. You have only to understand meaning about this at intermediate level, but meaning has also to be understood very, very clearly. Although you have to understand its meaning, but it has to be understood in no uncertain terms and very, very clearly, lucidly. So prospective financial information means financial information based on assumptions about events that may occur in the future and possible actions by the entity. Okay, so it can be a forecast, projection, and how the entity, what would be the entity's future sales, future profits. So what does this line say? What does this line convey to you guys? It says that prospective financial information is financial information based on assumptions about events that may occur in the future. So here the practitioner would be giving assurance about the assumptions which the organization has made in respect to events which may occur in the future and possible actions by the entity, by the organization in this regard. Like say कोई कंपनी कहती है कि हमारी सेल 2 साल बाद 100 करोड़ होगी. So what would the practitioner ask? He would ask for assumptions. What are the assumptions underlying your this projection? Okay, so he would be seeing whether these assumptions are reasonable, whether these are backed by some evidence. Okay, and what is the possibility of the organization achieving those things. But he, in the prospective financial information, the practitioner does not express assurance on the outcomes. He gives assurance whether the assumptions which have been used by the organization, whether these are reasonable or not. Okay, so this is the basic thing you have to understand, students, regarding meaning of prospective financial information. Clear, students? So difference between historical financial information and prospective financial information, तो ऑलरेडी इस डिस्कशन से आपको स्टूडेंट समझ में आ गया होगा. So by now you must have understood what is the difference between historical and prospective financial information. Yes, can we have some mails from your side, students? So Amit, difference between forecast and projection, these are two different terms, but you would be learning in detail about these terms at your finals. These are not in your syllabus right now. Yes, students, can you write any 1-2 points of the difference between historical financial information and prospective financial information? Yes, Srinivasan, review is also sometimes required under law or by regulation. Like it may be a requirement for a listed company to get reviewed its quarterly results, because every quarter full-time full-fledged audit is may not be possible, giving the extensive nature of procedures which are to be performed in an audit. So that is why review is done. Yes guys. Yes, it is not interim audit, it is review of interim financial statements. Yes, Priyanka Pandey, you have to you do not have to see what is a limited assurance engagement. The client would tell you to perform a limited assurance engagement. The client would engage you for a limited assurance engagement, and then you would be knowing that it is a limited assurance engagement. Yes. नो राहुल, प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन में ऑडिटर ये एश्योरेंस नहीं देता कि प्रोस्पेक्टिव इंफॉर्मेशन रिलायबल है. यही पॉइंट आपको अंडरस्टैंड करना है. वो ये एश्योरेंस देता है कि जो एजम्पशंस मैनेजमेंट या ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ने इस प्रोजेक्शन को, इस प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन को बनाने के लिए अडॉप्ट की हैं, वो अनरीजनेबल नहीं है, वो रीजनेबल है. ओके, वो इस बात की कोई एश्योरेंस नहीं देगा कि जो आउटकम्स प्रोजेक्शंस में दिखाए जा रहे हैं वो अचीव होंगे. तो दिस इज द पॉइंट ऑफ डिफरेंस यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. ऑल्दो the practitioner would give assurance, but his nature of assurance would be different. It would be about the underlying assumptions which have been taken as basis for preparing that projection or forecast. Yes, Swati, prospective financial information is different from audit engagement, although it is a part of assurance engagement. So remember that assurance engagement consists of three things. Number one, reasonable assurance engagement, example of which is audit. Number two, limited assurance engagement, example of which is review. And number three, assurance engagement dealing with matters other than historical financial information. means residual category. So as we have understood that audit and review both deal with historical information, but there are certain set of assurance engagement which do not deal with historical financial information. So these are the residual category. So one such example is assurance engagements involving prospective financial information. You are right, Swati. Yes. Madhav, historical events have occurred in past, events in future. Yes, that's correct. Historical can be said past sales and revenue. All you are writing so correctly. So you have understood the meaning of assurance engagement, types of assurance engagement, and difference between historical financial information and prospective financial information. Okay. No, prospective financial information doesn't give high level of assurance. Yes, Devender, I have not been able to see your question. Please send your mail again. Yes, Devender, please send your mail again. Yes. Yes, Gaurav, we shall be doing questions. You are asking about which type of questions may be asked. We shall be coming to questions also. Yes, Devender, if you have point, you can send your mail again. Yes, Devender, I have already told. I have skipped your question. I was not able to see. Please send your query again. Yes, Alka, review can also be done by auditor. It can be done. So students, in assurance reports involving prospective financial information, the practitioner obtains sufficient. Okay, students. So before concluding this chapter, I will look at all your queries. So let us first try to complete the chapter. So in assurance reports involving prospective financial information, the practitioner obtains sufficient appropriate evidence to the effect that management assumptions on which prospective financial information is based are not unreasonable. So this was what I was precisely telling you. So when a practitioner provides assurance on prospective financial information, he gathers sufficient appropriate evidence to see that assumptions which the management has taken, these are not unreasonable, that these should be reasonable. Say if the management is saying that we would achieve a target of say 200 crores. Okay, so how the management has arrived at that conclusion? So how the management has arrived at that conclusion, whether it's production capacity is going to be increased, or whether it would be entering into new markets, or whether it is acquiring some company, some entity. So what are the assumptions behind all these? Okay, so guys, all those of you, Devender and all others whose queries are unanswered, I will be taking at the end of the session. Okay. And one more thing he sees that prospective financial information is properly prepared on the basis of assumptions, and it is presented, and all material assumptions are adequately disclosed. So say management कोई projection बना रही है, उसने अपनी एस्टिमेट बनाया है कि अगले 5 साल में उसका क्या सेल्स होगा, उसके क्या एक्सपेंसेस होंगे, क्या प्रॉफिट्स होंगे. ओके, सो द प्रैक्टिशनर वुड सी कि जो भी एजम्पशंस मैनेजमेंट ने ली हैं, वेदर दीज आर रीजनेबल, और वो सब एजम्पशंस उस प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन में डिस्क्लोज्ड हैं. ओके, और जो प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन है वो प्रॉपरली प्रेजेंटेड है या नहीं. तो इट शुड बी प्रॉपरली प्रेजेंटेबल, इट शुड बी प्रॉपरली प्रेजेंटेड, so that intended users are able to understand it. Okay. Okay, yes, Devender, auditor deals with historical financial information. He does not deal with prospective financial information. So when we say who deals with prospective financial information, we can say a practitioner deals with prospective financial information. We will not use the term auditor here. Okay. Because the term auditor or the term audit is connected with a historical financial information. Okay, so that is why we shall use the term practitioner in case of assurance engagements dealing with prospective financial information. Hope it is clear. Yes, Anmol, you are right. Yes, Shivam, you are saying that how can we obtain sufficient appropriate evidence for giving assumptions on prospective financial information, because future is uncertain. Yes. Say, but future is uncertain, Shivam, but we can always say that what is the basis of your adopting this assumption. से हम वही एग्जांपल लेते हैं कि मैनेजमेंट ने 200 करोड़ की सेल का टारगेट दिया, तो मैनेजमेंट की assumption क्या है कि 200 करोड़ कैसे होगी. We have to see that. We shall not go into the area that 200 crores would be achieved. We shall see how you have arrived at this area. कोई तो आपके पास बेसिस होगा, कोई तो बेसिस होगा उस एजम्पशन पे, एजम्पशन को फॉलो करने का कि हो सकता है आपकी पिछले साल की सेल 150 करोड़ हो और इस साल आप 200 करोड़ कह रहे हैं, तो उसका एक ये एविडेंस है कि लास्ट ईयर 150 करोड़ थी, आप थोड़ी कोशिश करके 200 करोड़ हो जाएगी. से अगर लेकिन लास्ट ईयर 50 करोड़ थी, आप 200 करोड़ कैसे होगी, तो ऑब्वियसली आई वुड बी आस्किंग फॉर मोर थिंग्स. हाउ आई वुड बी सेटिस्फाइड, how the practitioner would be satisfied. Clear? Yes, Neha, you are saying what is reasonable and unreasonable differences. Reasonable means अनरीजनेबल मीन्स विच डजंट हैव एनी बेसिस, जो कि से हवा में है, विच डज नॉट हैव एनी बेसिस. बट रीजनेबल मीन्स जिसका कुछ बेसिस है, which is backed by some evidence which can be relied upon. So Srinivasan, prospective financial information is a category in itself. Examination of prospective financial information, rather examination of any other information which is not historical financial information, is a category in itself. So remember, there are three categories of an assurance engagement. One is reasonable assurance, another is limited assurance engagement. These both deal with historical financial information. And third is residual category, बची हुई, which do not deal with historical financial information. So it includes engagements involving examination of prospective financial information. Okay. Yes, clear to you, Srinivasan? Yes. Yes, assumptions can be changed. Assumptions can be changed. No, Tushar. So it would be doing injustice to students who have woke up at 7 o'clock. So you can rewind the lecture and see. So prospective financial information relates to future events, while evidence may be available to support the assumptions on which prospective financial information is based. Such evidence is generally future oriented. Therefore, the auditor is not in a position to express an opinion as to whether results shown in the prospective financial information will be achieved. This is very important. स्टूडेंट्स, मैंने आपको बताया था कि प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन में जो प्रैक्टिशनर है वो ओपिनियन नहीं देता इस बारे में कि रिजल्ट अचीव होंगे, वो इस बारे में ओपिनियन देता है कि एजम्पशंस, अंडरलाइंग एजम्पशंस अनरीजनेबल तो नहीं है. वो इस बात की गारंटी, इस बात का कोई एश्योरेंस नहीं देता कि फ्यूचर रिजल्ट जो प्रोजेक्शन में प्रोजेक्ट किए गए हैं, दीज वुड बी अचीव्ड. ओके. Therefore, in such assurance engagements, practitioner provides a report that nothing has come to practitioner's attention to suggest that these assumptions do not provide a reasonable basis for projection. वो इस बारे में रिपोर्ट देगा कि whether something has come to his notice that assumptions do not provide a reasonable basis for projection, whether he has found something in this regard. This is evidence in case of a assurance engagement dealing with the prospective financial information. Okay. So ये आपके एक टेबल बनी हुई है, चार्ट बना हुआ है कि लाइक ऑडिट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स तो रीजनेबल एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट है. ओके. रिव्यू ऑफ फाइनेंशियल एश्योरेंस स्टेटमेंट्स लिमिटेड एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट है, जैसे आपने पढ़ा. एग्जामिनेशन ऑफ फाइनेंशियल प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड्स एश्योरेंस रिगार्डिंग रीजनेबिलिटी ऑफ assumptions फॉर्मिंग बेसिस ऑफ प्रोजेक्शंस. ओके. और ये किसी और बारे में भी हो सकती है कि जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट की थर्ड कैटेगरी रेजिडुअल कैटेगरी है, तो इट कैन इंक्लूड रिपोर्ट्स ऑन कंट्रोल्स ऑपरेटिंग एट एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। जो कंपनी ने अपना सिस्टम बनाया है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को रन करने का, तो उसके बारे में, उसके कंट्रोल्स ठीक चल रहे हैं, डिजाइन एंड ऑपरेशन ऑफ कंट्रोल्स के बारे में भी एश्योरेंस हो सकती है। ओके, clear guys? This table again you can see, and now you can have a better, you can have a better perspective. So you are now in a better position to understand this chart. Okay, so I am again showing it to you. So again, see it for a moment, that on the top sits assurance engagement, and there are three categories of it. One is reasonable assurance engagement, another is limited assurance engagement, and third is residual category, dealing with matters other than historical financial information, and examples are given below that. So assimilate the contents of this diagram, this chart in your mind. Okay, so this gives you an overview of all the things relating to assurance engagements. Okay, students, so this topic has been freshly added this time in your syllabus. Assurance engagement, its meaning, elements of assurance engagement, and the types of assurance engagement, difference between audit and review, difference between reasonable assurance engagement and limited assurance engagement. These topics are fresh in syllabus for May 24, and it is quite possible that you may be asked a question from these topics, students. नाउ एक क्वेश्चन है, तो देखें इसका आंसर, देखें आप, बिना बिना आंसर को देखें, इसका देखें क्या आंसर होगा। द मैनेजमेंट ऑफ एक्सोटिक टूर्स एंड ट्रेवल्स लिमिटेड रिक्वेस्ट इट्स ऑडिटर राजा एंड कंपनी टू प्रोवाइड एन एश्योरेंस रिपोर्ट ऑन फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन फॉर फर्स्ट क्वार्टर ऑफ ईयर बाय स्किपिंग डिटेल्ड प्रोसीजर्स। एक कंपनी है, उसकी मैनेजमेंट अपने ऑडिटर को बोलती है कि आप जो है एक एश्योरेंस रिपोर्ट दीजिए हमें क्वार्टरली रिजल्ट्स के बारे में, फर्स्ट क्वार्टर के रिजल्ट्स के बारे में, लेकिन आपको डिटेल प्रोसीजर्स नहीं करने हैं। ठीक है, तो किस टाइप की रिपोर्ट होगी वो, and would it be necessary for them to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence in such a case? ये भी क्वेश्चन में पूछा गया है। वो किस टाइप की रिपोर्ट होगी, what kind of report it would be, and whether it would be necessary for the auditor to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence in such a case. Yes guys, लगता है आपको एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट और उसकी टाइप्स अच्छी तरह से समझ में आ गई हैं। आई एम हैप्पी दैट यू हैव अंडरस्टूड all the types, and you are answering it rightly. Yes, all of you are saying, sir, it would be a review engagement, and it would be providing limited assurance. अब स्टूडेंट्स क्वेश्चन का सेकंड पार्ट भी आंसर करना है आपको। व्हाट इज द सेकंड पार्ट? Second part is, would it be necessary for them to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence in such a case? Now, what we had learned while understanding meaning of review, or while understanding the difference between reasonable assurance engagement and limited assurance engagement, whether in case of a review or whether in case of a limited assurance engagement, the auditor would gather sufficient appropriate evidence. Yes, tell me. Second part also tell me. Yes, all of you are writing correctly. All of you are writing correctly. Yes, all of you are writing correctly that it would be necessary for him to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence. So keep it up, guys. So you have understood the concept properly. Okay. So now we will come to the qualities of auditor. Now what kind of a person auditor should be? What qualities he should have? Now, without going into your module, students, right from your own common sense, what is your perception? So I want to hear from you. आप क्या सोचते हैं कि ऑडिटर कैसा होना चाहिए? Which human qualities he should possess? Do not go by what is written in your module. वो तो आप पढ़ ही लेंगे, वो तो हम डिस्कस करेंगे ही. आप अपनी माइंड से सोच के बताएं मेरे को कि हाउ शुड एन ऑडिटर बी, what qualities he should possess, what qualities a person should possess to make him a good auditor. Yes. Yes, send your mail, guys. Few mails have come. Any Rito Banerjee, Rituraj, Prince, and what about others? Yes, Gunjan Devi, what is your doubt? Yes. So, Devender Singh, he should be like a watchdog. Yes, that's also true. Calm, Divya Kumari. Yes. Tarun, integrity, trustworthy, Srinivasan, reliable, honest. So all better understanding human behavior. Yes, all these things. Yes, Bhavika, your mails are coming. Please do not worry. Please do not worry when you are sending mails to this account. So all of your mails are being received. So it may so happen that I am not able to see all lot of mails. So I'm going through and trying to stifle the information. Yes. So basically, all of you have understood how an auditor should be. So he should have integrity. He should not certify false information. He should possess a quality of dealing fairly with his clients. Okay. He should have objectivity of seeing the facts as these are. He should not be influenced by other persons, and he should be patient. Somebody has written it. He should be patient. He should have ability to listen to others. Okay, and he should be tactful also. Now, friends, tact is an important quality. आप कई बार कोई इंफॉर्मेशन है, कोई आदमी some employee is not giving to you by straight asking, then if a person is tactful, he can extract information from that person without creating a much noise. So this is what is called tact. So he should be tactful. ही शुड हैव सेंस ऑफ जजमेंट कि कोई आदमी आपको क्या बोल रहा है और उसका क्या मतलब है, हाउ ही इज रिस्पॉन्डिंग। आपने किसी से कुछ पूछा और उस आदमी ने आपको क्या जवाब दिया, वेदर ही इज मिसलीडिंग यू और नॉट, यू शुड बी एबल टू जज दोज थिंग्स। तो these things also come with experience. ओके, और नॉलेजेबल तो उसके बारे में तो कोई डाउट ही नहीं है, नॉलेजेबल तो होगा ही, नॉलेजेबल होना चाहिए, क्योंकि नॉलेज के बिना तो ऑब्वियसली he would not be able to conduct audit. Okay, honesty, unbiased, all these are right. Priyanka, the mail ID is the same at which you are sending mails. Priyanka Malkhede. So now let us see what is in your module. So students, you now understand that auditing deals with financial information contained in financial statements. Okay. So financial statements are prepared by persons. These are prone to errors and frauds. Okay, there can be genuine errors, there can be well thought out frauds also. So therefore, some of the qualities like tact, caution, auditor is normally conservative in his attitude. एक जगह से एविडेंस लेगा, दूसरी जगह से एविडेंस लेगा, and he tries to resolve, he tries to see whether there is whether evidence from one source is not contradictory with evidence from another source, or and if it is so, if evidence from one source is contradictory with another source, then why it is so, he would try to reconcile it. ओके, से बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स में सेल 50 करोड़ की आ रही है, जीएसटी पोर्टल पे सेल 49 करोड़ की आ रही है, तो और तीसरी जगह किसी इंफॉर्मेशन से सेल से ईवे बिल जनरेट किया, आउटवर्ड ईवे बिल समरी, तो उससे सेल्स में कुछ और डिफरेंस है, सो ही वुड ट्राई टू रिकंसाइल ऑल दीज थिंग्स. ओके, so he would adopt a conservative approach. Caution, he would take caution, he would he is having good temper, he would not lead, uh, he would listen to others carefully, he would exercise discretion, judgment, and reliability. All these are qualities which in fact which go to make a good human being. All these qualities should be present in the auditor. And auditor students, you now know that auditor holds a position of trust. तो यूजर्स और ऑडिटर के बीच में क्या है, व्हाट बाइंड्स बिटवीन यूजर्स एंड ऑडिटर्स, क्या चीज बाइंड करती है यूजर्स और ऑडिटर्स को, दैट इज ट्रस्ट. से इफ दैट ट्रस्ट इज लॉस्ट, then the value of audit also diminishes. Clear students? So to keep that trust between the auditor and users intact is of utmost importance. ओके, इसी वजह से आपने देखा होगा कि जो जो स्टूडेंट्स ऑडिटिंग प्रोफेशन है, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी प्रोफेशन है, इट इज वेरी वेल रेगुलेटेड. सो Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI, is the regulatory body which keeps a tab on activities of its members by various means. Okay, so why it is done so? Why there are so much strict rules or regulations? The reason is to help maintain the confidence of users, the confidence of public in the financial statements which are signed, which are audited by auditors. Okay. Human fallibility. Yes, Madhav, you are asking human fallibility means that humans are prone to errors, that humans are not perfect. Okay. Yes, Gunjan, he can do so depending upon his competencies, depending upon resources available with him. Two engagements can be carried out. Okay. The auditor who holds a position of trust must have the basic human qualities apart from technical requirement of professional training and education. तो वो तो एक बेसिक चीज है, प्रोफेशनल ट्रेनिंग और एजुकेशन तो है, वो तो आप सब लोग, इसीलिए तो आपने सीए कोर्स ज्वाइन किया, टू 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 गेट प्रोफेशनल एजुकेशन एंड ट्रेनिंग. ओके. So he is called upon constantly to critically review financial statement, and it is obvious that it would be useless for him to attempt that task unless his knowledge is that of an expert. So obviously, as regards audit is concerned, he is an expert in this field. Okay. So an exhaustive knowledge of accounting is the sine qua non for the practice of audit. It means that it is the essential condition. It is the essential condition. So auditing students, अगर आपको accounting की knowledge नहीं है, आपको पता ही नहीं बैलेंस शीट बनती कैसे है, you do not know about how to read a balance sheet, you are not literate, I would say. You are not literate about reading financial statements, and you do not know what do various heads in the balance sheet reflect, what are the possible accounting policies, what are the possible choices for the entity, what are the possible actions which are to be performed by an organization in accordance with accounting standards in various sections, then how can conduct an effective audit? So therefore, a knowledge of accounting, a knowledge of an exhaustive knowledge of accountancy is a basic essential condition for an auditing. So I have already explained. So this is the meaning of this phrase. So he must know thoroughly all accounting principles and techniques. Clear, students? Vishali, prospective information is not asked by shareholders. So look, shareholders are not involved in day-to-day affairs of the company. So prospective financial information assurance, Vishali, it would be asked by the management, by the board. Okay. So clear, students, हो गया आपका ये topic, you have understood. Now we come to very important thing, students, जो कि हम आगे सारे चैप्टर्स में पढ़ेंगे, and all your chapters are based on this. ओके. तो पहली चीज तो है स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग. ओके. सो essays, students, I had told you at the beginning also, what is the purpose of essays. स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग क्या है और इनका पर्पस क्या है. So standards on auditing deal with the audit of deal with those matters which relate to audit of financial statements. So these apply in the audit of historical financial information, and there are another set of standards which apply in review of historical financial information. So these are called standards on review engagement, SREs. So standards, there is another category of standards which deal with assurance or assurance engagements other than audit and review, like assurance engagements on prospective financial information. And there are standards on related services. There are some related services also. So here at intermediate level students, आपको डिटेल में only essays are in your syllabus. And these are covered in all your subsequent chapters. जो आपके अब चैप्टर्स हैं वो सब ऐसे पे ही बेस्ड हैं. इवन फर्स्ट चैप्टर जो मैंने आपको जो हम कर रहे हैं, इट इज ऑल्सो लार्जली ड्रॉन फ्रॉम essay 200, जैसा मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया था, एज आई हैड ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू अर्लियर. Yes, Satyam Singh, sine qua non means essential condition, essential feature. I have explained to you already. Any? Then why you are sending mails again, students? And standards on review engagements, वो स्टैंडर्ड हैं जो कि रिव्यू एंगेजमेंट पे अप्लाई होते हैं. और स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट तीसरी कैटेगरी है जो कि अप्लाई होते हैं प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन पे, या जो मैटर्स कनेक्टेड नहीं है ऑडिट और रिव्यू पे. तो इसके बारे में तो आपको रिव्यू एंगेजमेंट स्टैंडर्ड्स के बारे में तो आपको थोड़ा सा समझना है, इसके बारे में भी थोड़ा सा समझना है, और रिलेटेड सर्विसेज के बारे में भी थोड़ा सा समझना है, बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग. ओके, लेकिन स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग जो है ये आपको डिटेल में है. दीज आर इन डिटेल. All these other things, these you would be reading in your finals. So all these things you would be reading in your finals. इसके बारे में स्टूडेंट्स आपको सिर्फ बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेनी है, लेकिन स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग के बारे में आपको डिटेल में समझना है. सो स्टूडेंट्स, पहले हम स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग के बारे में ही समझ लेते हैं. और एक और चीज स्टूडेंट्स आपको ध्यान में रखनी है कि ये चारों चीजें, चारों एसेज मिला के स्टूडेंट्स, एक बार मैं आपको बोर्ड पे भी लिख देता हूं. चार टाइप के स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं स्टूडेंट्स. स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग, सेकंड इज स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन रिव्यू एंगेजमेंट्स, नॉर्मली शॉर्ट फॉर्म इसको कहते हैं हम एसएज. स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग, स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन रिव्यू एंगेजमेंट, SREs in short form, SREs, standards on review engagements. Okay, and number 3 is standards on assurance engagements. इनका नाम स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट्स है, लेकिन ये उसी इंफॉर्मेशन से डील करते हैं जो कि ऑडिट या रिव्यू नहीं है, जो कि हिस्टोरिकल फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है. इट इज समथिंग एल्स लाइक प्रोस्पेक्टिव फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन. सो इनको हम कहते हैं स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट्स। और इसके बाद है नंबर 4 स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन रिलेटेड सर्विसेज। तो इसके बारे में हम अभी डिस्कस करेंगे कि व्हाट डू वी मीन बाय रिलेटेड सर्विसेज। इसको हम शॉर्ट फॉर्म में लिखते हैं SRS। ओके, so these all 4 kind of standards are collectively called as engagement standards. Students, remember this term. These are collectively called as engagement standards. क्योंकि इन चारों टाइप की एंगेजमेंट्स में the client is engaging you, the client is engaging the practitioner, so these are all engagements, so these are called collectively, all these 4 kind of standards are collectively known as engagement standards. Okay, so related services के बारे में students we shall be discussing after few minutes. So for the timing you can understand that these are 4 type of standards. Standards on auditing, essays, remember their name. Number 2, standards on review engagements, which relate to review of historical financial information, and standards on assurance engagement, which deal with matters other than audit and review of historical financial information. And number 4 is standards on related services. So these 4 things collectively, combinedly, these 4 things are known as engagement standards. Remember the name engagement standards. क्योंकि अब सब कुछ पढ़ के स्टूडेंट्स ये भूल जाओगे कि इनको कलेक्टिवली क्या कहते हैं। तो इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट दीज आर कलेक्टिवली कॉल्ड एज engagement standards. Yes, standard. Now Priyanka, you Malkhede, you are asking why FC is added to these standard. Now standards on auditing, because it is not a one standard. So when we write one essay, so if I write only essay, so it denotes only one specific essay, say essay 200. Now if I have to write, if I have to use the term in plural sense, then obviously I am inserting a S. Okay. Yes, Miss Wadla Mani, what is your query? Yes, Wadla Mani, what is your query? So it is clear to you guys. So पहले हम स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग के बारे में समझते हैं, जो कि आपको ऑलरेडी पता भी है स्टूडेंट्स। सो स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग किस चीज के बारे में डील करते हैं? एसेज। टेल मी, आई आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन। Yes, Rahul, what you are writing is correct, Rahul Patel. So standards on auditing किस चीज के बारे में स्टूडेंट डील करते हैं? आई गिव यू 2 ऑप्शंस, whether standards on auditing deal with the responsibilities of auditor while while performing an audit, or whether these deal with the rights of auditor. Yes, जितना जितना आपको आपने समझा है स्टूडेंट अभी तक, आप मेरे को बताएं whether standards on auditing deal with the responsibilities of auditor or these deal with the rights of auditor. Yes, Rakshit, I think 38 essays are there. 38, around 38 essays are there. Many, I think 80 to 90% of these are in your syllabus at intermediate level. ये स्टूडेंट्स, मैंने आपसे पूछा था कि आप मेरे को बताएं कि एसेज जो हैं ऑडिटर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के बारे में डील करते हैं या राइट्स के बारे में डील करते हैं। बेसिक फंडा स्टूडेंट्स, ऑडिटिंग में आपको बेसिक फंडा कभी नहीं भूलना है। यस, so almost all of you except 2 or 3 are writing that these deal with the responsibilities of auditor. And few of you are writing that these deal with the rights of auditor. So क्या करें स्टूडेंट्स, कौन सा आंसर लॉक करें आपका? ऑडियंस पोल का क्या रिजल्ट है, कौन सा आंसर लॉक किया जाए? ये स्टूडेंट्स, सो आप मेजॉरिटी ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स हैव रिटन राइटली दीज डील विद द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज ऑफ ऑडिटर। स्टूडेंट्स, आपको ये कभी नहीं भूलना है कि एसेज डील विद द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज ऑफ ऑडिटर। दे डू नॉट गिव एनी राइट, एक्सप्रेस राइट टू द ऑडिटर। वो इस बारे में डील करते हैं कि आपको ऑडिट प्लान कैसे करना है, आपको ऑडिट में क्या क्या प्रोसीजर्स अडॉप्ट करने हैं, कौन से प्रोसीजर्स हैं, ऑडिट में क्या रिस्क है, आपको वो रिस्क कैसे असेस करना है, आपको कंपनी के ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के इंटरनल कंट्रोल के बारे में कैसे समझना है, हाउ यू हैव टू ऑब्टेन सफिशिएंट अप्रोप्रिएट एविडेंस, and and nonetheless how you have to form an opinion. Okay, what should be the form of your opinion, and how you should express your opinion, how you should give your report, what should be the elements of your report. So all these things are standardized, all these things are uniform. Why it is so? अब ऐसा क्यों है स्टूडेंट्स, व्हाई इट इज सो? व्हाई इट इज सो? व्हाई इट इज सो, ऐसा क्यों है? बिकॉज बिकॉज सो दैट यू फॉर यूजर्स देर इज ए there is a sort of uniformity that when they are reading a report, when the users are reading an auditor report signed by Mr. X and he is comparing it with a report of another company signed by Mr. Y, so obviously these should be in the same format. Okay, so and users get a comfort that all the reports they are reading, all the reports which they are studying, these have been audited by professional with and who have done their work, who have performed their work by following same standards, by following same benchmarks. Okay, which are accepted and which are applicable not only here, not only in India, but also worldwide, but also globally, so that one thing can be compared with another, so that you are not comparing apples with oranges, you are comparing apples with apples. Clear, guys? yes, Priyanka Pandey, you are right. So clear students. तो वर्चुअली जैसे मैंने आपको बताया था, ऑडिट के हर एस्पेक्ट के बारे में, स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं. लाइक देयर इज SA 300 which relates to planning audit. There is SA 315 relating to assessing risk. Okay. There is SA 500 relating to audit evidence. There is SA 501. There is SA 510. So all these things deal with different items. So SA 700 deals with the contents of audit report. So you would be learning all these essays. You would be learning all these essays, contents of these essays, what is written in these essays. ऑडिटर को अपने प्रोसीजर्स कैसे परफॉर्म करने चाहिए, अगर वो फिजिकल वेरिफिकेशन इन्वेंटरी कर रहा है तो उसकी क्या क्या ड्यूटीज हैं, उसको क्या करना है. ठीक है. तो ये सब चीजें स्टूडेंट्स हम आने वाले चैप्टर में पढ़ेंगे. दीज ऑल थिंग्स वी वुड बी स्टडिंग इन आवर सब्सिक्वेंट चैप्टर्स. तो इस चैप्टर में आपको सिर्फ एक ओवरव्यू दिया गया है कि ये चीज है, इसका ये मीनिंग है. ओके. क्लियर स्टूडेंट्स. ये SA 200 तो है ही स्टूडेंट्स, वो फर्स्ट ऐसे है. SA 200 is the first essay which relates to overall objectives of independent auditor while conducting audit of financial statements. Okay. So students, this is all what we have discussed is written in your module. So essay standards on auditing establish high quality benchmarks and are followed by auditor in conducting audit of financial statements. Yes, Girja, so all numbers, I have given numbers of standards. I have written on the board some standards. The contents of these you would be learning afterwards. So standards on auditing have been issued on a wide spectrum in the field of auditing, ranging from objectives of independent auditor, documentation के बारे में भी स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं स्टूडेंट्स, कि ऑडिटर को आपका ऑडिट करते समय क्या क्या चीजें डॉक्यूमेंट करनी है. देयर इज स्टैंडर्ड ऑन दैट ऑल्सो. SA 230 planning and audit of financial statements. Okay. Identifying and assessing risk of material misstatement. Audit sampling. There is a standard essay on audit sampling also. Okay. SA 530. Audit evidence and forming opinion on audit of financial statements. So नाम जो है डिफरेंट एसेस के कुछ दिए गए हैं. तो ये आपको नाम यहाँ पे याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी जब आप ये चैप्टर्स करेंगे तो नाम आपको ऑलरेडी याद हो जाएंगे. क्योंकि सब चैप्टर्स, एज आई एम टेलिंग यू, ऑल द चैप्टर्स आर बेस्ड अपॉन डिफरेंट एसेज. सो व्हेन यू वुड बी doing all those chapters, so we would be repeating the names again and again. So obviously you would be ingraining all these things in your mind. Okay. Yes, राहुल आप पूछ रहे हैं SA 200 से क्यों स्टार्ट है, 1 से क्यों स्टार्ट नहीं. द नंबरिंग इज डन इन अकॉर्डेंस विद द इंटरनेशनल बेंचमार्क्स राहुल. तो जो इंटरनेशनल बेंचमार्क्स हैं उसी के अकॉर्डिंग नंबरिंग है। तो इंडिया में भी वही बेंचमार्क फॉलो किए जाते हैं। ओके, संतोष, आई हैव ऑलरेडी अपलोडेड key learning points of this chapter. So standards on review engagements. Now standards on review engagements क्या है students? These are the standards which apply in the context of review engagement. Simple. The standards which apply in the context of audit of financial information, audit of financial statements, these are called standards on auditing. Now standards which deal with the review of financial statements, these are called standards on review engagements. Simple. Okay. So we have already understood that review is a limited assurance engagement. So we know that review is a limited assurance engagement and provides lower level of comfort than a audit, and it involves performing fewer procedures. So two standards on review engagements are issued. These are their numbers: SRE 2400 and 2410. Detailing is not your at the level of intermediate syllabus. All these two standards you would be reading in your final exams. So what is covered in your syllabus right now is that you have to understand that there is a category known as standards on review engagements. आपको इतना समझना है कि standards on review engagement भी होते हैं, और ये उन दो standards के नाम है जो review engagement पे अभी तक issue हुए हैं. ओके, और रिव्यू स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन रिव्यू एंगेजमेंट कहां अप्लाई होते हैं? दीज अप्लाई इन रिव्यू ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स. जब आपके एंगेजमेंट रिव्यू ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स की है, देन दीज स्टैंडर्ड्स अप्लाई, देन you would have to carry out review in accordance with these standards. As simple as that. आपको इससे ज्यादा नहीं समझना. Yes, Priyanka Pandey, the basic material from these essays is taken from international standards. Okay, and these have been modified, adapted in our circumstances as necessary. Okay. Now third thing is standards on assurance engagement. तो इसमें भी वही चीज है. So standards on assurance engagement, students, where do these apply? These apply in engagements which do not deal with the audit or review of historical financial information, which deal with matters. These are those assurance engagements which deal with matters other than audit or review of historical financial information. So in such type of engagements, like in examination of prospective financial information, these standards apply. Okay, so इसकी भी डिटेलिंग स्टूडेंट्स, इट इज नॉट इन योर सिलेबस. Detailing, this you would be reading in your CA final. All these two standards have been issued. These you would be reading in your CA finals. Yes, Kaklotar Jayesh Bhai, you are asking who issues standards on auditing. These are issued by under the authority of the Council of ICAI. These are issued under the authority of Council of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Okay, and then there are related services. Now related services, we shall be doing this. Related services, पहले तो हम इसको समझेंगे कि related services क्या होती हैं, and then we will understand what are standards on related services. So that we will be taking after a short break of 5 minutes. So students, short break of 5 minutes. Yes, students, welcome back. So, related services. So, this is a new term, students. What do we mean by related services? So, students, say your client asks you to perform certain procedures which have been decided between you and your client, say relating to some aspect. Say he wants you to verify purchases of his company, to perform certain procedures relating to purchases. Now, what procedures have to be performed? This is also pre-decided between you. It is also agreed upon between you and your client beforehand. Or the say the auditor, say the client might require you to verify sales of his company, or to say verify even purchase from related parties, or say he may ask you to verify only trade receivables or only trade payables. So here, between the client and you, between the client and practitioner, there is a sort of agreement to perform certain agreed upon procedures. So what procedures are to be performed have already been agreed to between the client and between the practitioner. So these kind of services are called as related services. Clear? And another kind of services, related services, are compilation engagements. Now, what are compilation engagement means? The client asks you to help them in preparing their financial statements. See, we had learned at the beginning that preparation is and presentation of financial statements is responsibility of management. Auditor has the auditor doesn't have a responsibility regarding preparation of financial statements. But say if the client asks you, he is finding it difficult, he asks you to prepare, to help them prepare financial statements. Okay, so in that case you would be rendering related services. Okay, so an agreement to perform agreed upon procedures is an example of related services. An agreement to perform a compilation engagement. Compilation means to compile. Okay, the company has given you trial balance and other related information, and it helps you to it requires you to help them in preparing their financial statements. Okay, so these kind of engagements are known as related service engagements. So standards which apply in these type of engagements are known as standards on related services. Fairly simple. So an engagement to perform agreed upon procedures may require the auditor to perform certain procedures concerning individual items of financial data, say accounts payable, accounts receivable, okay, purchases from related parties, and sales and profits of a segment of an entity, or even a financial statement. So these are known as agreed upon procedures. So these are in nature of what? Related service engagements or compilation engagement, as I have already told you. So standards which apply in these circumstances are known as standards on related services. So two standards have been issued under the authority of Council of ICAI. These are SR 4400 4410. These also you would be studying at your CA finals. Okay. So what you have to do at this stage is you have to understand what is the meaning of related services, and what are the names of these standards on related services. The detailing is not there at the intermediate level. It forms part of your final curriculum. Okay. So all these standards collectively, standards on auditing, standards on review engagement, standards on assurance engagements, and standards on related services, these together are called as engagement standards, as we had discussed a little time before. So these are called as engagement standards. So engagement standards are issued under the authority of Council of ICAI and deal with the responsibilities of auditor practitioner, auditor or practitioner. क्लियर स्टूडेंट्स? सो ये ब्रॉड व्यू स्टूडेंट्स आपको अपने दिमाग में रखना है. ओके. And yes, Shivam Gautam, you are asking, can auditor make audit report for the entity for which he provide related services like compilation? No, Shivam, he can't do so, because that would be a violation of his independence. Because if somebody is also preparing financial statements, then how he can audit those financial statements? So even such type of things are barred under Companies Act, that the auditor cannot provide such type of services. But obviously the company can avail those services from a firm of auditors, from those chartered accountants who are not auditors of that company. Okay. Now Manish, the practitioner does not provide assurance. The practitioner does not provide assurance, any sort of assurance on related services. He gives only a report that, look, this was our agreement. Now we have performed these procedures, agreed upon procedures as agreed between us and client before accepting the engagement, and these are the facts and these are our findings. He does not give any assurance. He does not express any opinion. He does not give any comfort. Okay. Yes, when Srinivasan, when the scope of audit is decided, a scope of engagement is decided, then it is expressly mentioned that engagement would be performed in accordance with so and so standards. If it is an audit engagement, that it would be performed in accordance with standards on auditing. Okay. No, Hardik, can one auditor do 4 engagements? Now, which type of 4 engagements you are referring? If you are referring these 4 engagements, so an auditor can be a reviewer, but he can't be rendering related services. Swati, I have already answered your query. I have already answered. And besides these, students, there are standards on quality control. तो इसके बारे में स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन क्वालिटी कंट्रोल, इट इज नोन एज SQC, स्टैंडर्ड ऑन क्वालिटी कंट्रोल. सो इसका क्या पर्पस है स्टूडेंट्स? व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ दीज स्टैंडर्ड्स? इट्स पर्पस इज टू एस्टेब्लिश स्टैंडर्ड बेंचमार्क्स and to guide the firms, to guide the audit firms that they have a responsibility to maintain a system of quality control in their firms while conducting audit and review of historical financial information, and even while providing other assurance and related services. So all the firms, all the CA firms, all the auditing firms, they have to ensure, they have to make sure that work they are doing, that services they are providing to their clients are qualitative. They have to establish a system of quality control in their firms that which ensures that all the services which they are rendering is in accordance with the professional and technical standards, and Council of ICAI has issued SQC1, Standard on Quality Control 1, in this regard. So you would be reading about SQC1, students, in your chapter 11. That what are the elements of a system of quality control? How should an auditor establish a system of a quality control so that he ensures that services provided by him to his client, to his or her client, are always qualitative. These are up to a standard. These conform to standards, benchmarks which are accepted globally. Okay. Yes, Keshav, good question. Now these four standards, standards on auditing, standards on review engagement, standards on assurance engagements, and standards on related services, these are collectively called as engagement standards. Now if we combine standards on quality control with this, then these are collectively known as engagement and quality control standards. Then these are known as engagement and quality control standards. So students, essays plus standards on review engagement plus standards on assurance engagement plus standards on related services, these are engagement standards. If we add standards on quality control, so these together are known as engagement and quality control standards. Yes, there is only one SQC issued till now, that is standard on quality control. So this is engagement and quality control standards collectively. And students, you have to remember that this standard on quality control, this applies to all these things. So SQC, standards on quality control, in fact there is only one standard, SQC1. So you have to remember that SQC1 applies not only to audit engagement, it applies to review engagements, it applies to assurance engagements other than audit and review engagement, and it also applies to related service engagements. So this is also very important point to remember. Students, इस पे एक MCQ बनता है कि standard on quality control SQC1, it applies to audit engagements, it applies to review engagements, it applies to assurance engagements, other than audit and review, and it applies to related service engagements also. It applies to all of them. Because why it is so? Because all services to the clients have to be provided qualitatively. High quality services have to be provided. So as which standard ensures this? SQC1. Okay, so SQC1 ensures this. Is that clear, students? Yes. Is that clear, students? Now, Rito Banerjee, you are asking what is the difference between engagement standards and quality standards. Yes, engagement standards are applicable in in specific engagements. If it is an audit engagement, essays will apply. If it is a review engagement, review engagement standards would apply. However, quality control standard apply in all engagements. So quality control standards basically they guide the auditor how to maintain quality while providing services. What aspects have to be kept in mind while devising a quality control system in his firm while rendering services? These, it does not deal with specific engagements, but it deals with all engagements, and it is related to maintenance of quality, creation of a quality control system and its maintenance at all times while rendering services. So you would be reading about SQC1 in your last chapter, that is chapter 11. Probably I think it is there. So clear students, ये एक बेसिक जो चार्ट है, एक डायग्राम है, ये अपने दिमाग में स्टूडेंट्स ऑडिटिंग में हमेशा रखें, क्योंकि इतना कंटेंट जो आप आगे वाले चैप्टर में पढ़ेंगे उसको पढ़ने के बाद you one tends to forget the basic things, और एग्जामिनेशन में basic things, basic fundamentals are very important, and otherwise one gets trapped, one gets confused, and one may give wrong answers. Okay. Priyanka Pandey, how do we differentiate between engagement standards and essays on quality control? These are together different. How do you differentiate these standards are different. Quality control standards में सिर्फ यही बताया गया है कि आपको क्वालिटी कंट्रोल सिस्टम कैसे बनाना है, वो चाहे ऑडिट के बारे में हो, चाहे रिव्यू के बारे में हो, चाहे रिलेटेड सर्विसेज एंगेजमेंट के बारे में हो। वो इस बारे में डील नहीं करता कि आपको क्या क्या प्रोसीजर्स अडॉप्ट करने हैं, आपको इन्वेंट्री कैसे वेरीफाई, इन्वेंट्री के बारे में क्या प्रोसीजर्स अडॉप्ट करने हैं, या ट्रेड रिसीवेबल्स के बारे में क्या प्रोसीजर्स अडॉप्ट करने हैं, इसके बारे में क्वालिटी कंट्रोल डील नहीं करता। क्वालिटी कंट्रोल इस बारे में डील करता है कि जनरली कोई भी सर्विसेज आपको देनी है अपने क्लाइंट को, तो वो जो आपकी फर्म में क्वालिटी कंट्रोल सिस्टम है उसको आप क्या क्या उसमें मेंटेन करेंगे कि आप सर्विसेज जो है क्वालिटेटिव देते रहें अपने क्लाइंट्स को। ओके प्रियंका, होप इट इज क्लियर टू यू। प्रियंका पांडे, so again very important thing, it is to be remembered that standards on quality control, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया था, are to be applied for all services covered by engagement standards. जो engagement standards में सर्विसेज हैं, जितनी भी सर्विसेज हैं उन सब पे SQC अप्लाई होता है। वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम एग्जामिनेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। ओके, so why are standards needed? This we have already done. They established benchmarks, they improve quality of financial reporting. These things I have already been telling you. Standards promote uniformity. Standards equipped professional accountants with professional knowledge and skill. Standards ensure audit quality. So all these things, these are the things which we have been discussing frequently. सो कोई भी एंगेजमेंट स्टूडेंट्स जब एक ऑडिटर या प्रैक्टिशनर परफॉर्म करता है तो ही हैज टू इंश्योर दैट स्टैंडर्ड्स आर फॉलोड। इफ फॉर सम रीजन a specific procedure is not followed, so normally in all situations, practitioner or auditor, he would strive to follow all the procedures, but practical situations can be very challenging at sometimes. So it is quite possible that a practitioner or auditor is not able to follow the prescribed procedure or the as prescribed in standard. So if there is a departure, then the practitioner or the auditor would state that departure. Okay, and how it has been done, how he has obtained comfort, what alternative procedure he has adopted in place of that skipped procedure. This has to be clearly documented, and the auditor or practitioner, he would draw attention of users to this aspect, that I have not performed this procedure. Okay, so this is a table of all the things. So let us do a case study. Okay guys, so students, departure means, Alka, when you are not following something, when something is required to be followed and you are not following it, you are going away from it, you are deviating from it, so it is known as departure. So students, are you ready for some MCQs, case study based MCQs? So do not see the answer. I do not want that you see the answer and you say, oh, Mr. X, you have answered all the 5 question rights, you are great, you have knowledge is great. I do not want that type of situation. Yes, these standards apply at global level also. Yes, at least I think about 3 months we would take. Yes, so you can read, you are able to study this case study. Those of you who are having module can also open up and read this case study. एक कंपनी है स्टूडेंट्स, मैं थोड़ा थोड़ा बोलता भी जाता हूं आपको। एक कंपनी है, the plant of the company has recently started production with the help of funds provided by bank for purchase and installation of machinery. बैंक ने फाइनेंस किया कंपनी को, उसके पास पैसे नहीं थे, बैंक ने फाइनेंस किया कंपनी को उसका मशीनरी लगाने के लिए, बैंक ने लोन दिया, ठीक है। द कंपनी इज ऑल्सो यूटिलाइजिंग वर्किंग कैपिटल क्रेडिट फैसिलिटीज फ्रॉम द सेम बैंक फॉर मीटिंग इट्स डे टू डे रिक्वायरमेंट्स। अपना रोज का काम चलाने के लिए, रॉ मटेरियल खरीदने के लिए, लेबर की पेमेंट करने के लिए भी उसने बैंक से लोन लिया हुआ है, जिसको हम वर्किंग कैपिटल कहते हैं, वर्किंग कैपिटल फैसिलिटी कहते हैं। ओके, लेकिन उसको थोड़ी टाइम बाद मैनेजमेंट फील्स कि जो उसने बैंक से लोन लिया हुआ है उससे उसका काम नहीं चल रहा है, फंड्स आर इनएडिक्वेट, वो बैंक से और लोन लेना चाहती है। द कंपनी वांट्स टू टेक मोर लोन फ्रॉम बैंक। तो अभी क्योंकि पूरा साल खत्म नहीं हुआ है, तो मैनेजमेंट को बैंकर बोलता है, बैंक मैनेजर बोलता है कि आप जो है अपने हाफ ईयर की फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स जो है आप लेके आइए, along with the report providing assurance in this respect। ऐसी रिपोर्ट लेके आइए जो कि एश्योरेंस रिपोर्ट हो, ठीक है, क्योंकि ऑडिट अभी दूर है। और आप वो भी लेके आइए, आप अपनी प्रोजेक्शन भी लेके आइए कि आप अगले सालों में कैसे परफॉर्म करेंगे, और इसकी भी एश्योरेंस रिपोर्ट लेके आइए। क्या कह रहा है, इसकी भी एश्योरेंस रिपोर्ट लेके आइए। तो मैनेजमेंट अप्रोचेस सीएपी एंड उसको बोलता है कि वो आप हमें एश्योरेंस रिपोर्ट प्रोवाइड कीजिए हाफ ईयरली रिजल्ट्स की और प्रोजेक्टेड फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स की, ठीक है। पहले तो एक ये पार्ट है, इस सेकंड पार्ट पे हम बाद में आएंगे। अब हम इसके क्वेश्चंस देखते हैं। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, द मैनेजमेंट ऑफ कंपनी हैज एंगेज सीएपी टू इशू ए ड्यूली साइंड रिपोर्ट फॉर हाफ ईयर। नाउ विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टैंडर्ड्स वुड बी रेलिवेंट फॉर सीएपी? बताइए स्टूडेंट्स। सीएपी के लिए इनमें चारों में से कौन से स्टैंडर्ड्स रेलिवेंट होंगे? मैनेजमेंट कंपनी की कह रही है, द कंपनी मैनेजमेंट इज सेइंग आस्किंग सीएपी टू प्रोवाइड एश्योरेंस रिपोर्ट फॉर हाफ ईयर। Yes, only 3 mails have come. Which of the following standards would be relevant in such a situation? Which of the following standards would be relevant in such a situation? Yes, what about others? Only Rito, Rituraj and Swati. What about others? Which should be the right option? Yes, almost all of you have written A. So this is the right answer. So some of students have also written C. How you have written C, guys? This is wrong answer. These are not related services. मैंने आपको बताया था स्टूडेंट्स, related services occur when there is an agreement to perform agreed upon procedures, and another is to in case of compilation engagement. Now it is not a compilation engagement. It is not a compilation engagement. The management is asking you to provide assurance for an interim period. Okay, so in this case, standards on review engagements would apply. So Meghna, Prince, I think you have understood. So what is the question? Either it is not visible to me completely. Number 2, which of the following statements is most appropriate in given case? अब स्टूडेंट्स इसका सेकंड पार्ट पढ़िए। The company only provides trial balance, financial statements, preliminary form along with accompanying records for relevant half year to CAP and requests him to provide duly signed financial statements with the report. अगर सपोज इस केस स्टडी में एज्यूम करिए कि कंपनी उसको कह देती है मैनेजमेंट को कि आप जो है आपको ट्रायल बैलेंस दे रहे हैं, आप हमारी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बना दीजिए, ठीक है। तो उस केस में इनमें से कौन सी स्टेटमेंट ठीक है? क्या क्या वो प्रैक्टिशनर कर सकता है? क्या वो प्रैक्टिशनर कर सकता है? इस केस में क्या प्रैक्टिशनर कर सकता है? मैनेजमेंट कह रही है कि आपको हम ट्रायल बैलेंस दे रहे हैं और कुछ कंपनी रिकॉर्ड्स दे रहे हैं, आप हमारी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बना दीजिए। ओके, तो what we had studied while learning compilation engagement is that practitioner can do so. लेकिन वो उस केस में कौन सी रिपोर्ट देगा? He would not give an audit report in such a case. He would give a compilation report. He would give a compilation report. So CAP can assist management in preparation of financial statements of the company, and he can issue a compilation report in this respect. He can issue a compilation report in this respect. He cannot, he can assist management, this part is right, but he cannot issue an audit report. So this is wrong. He cannot issue an audit report. So CAP can assist management in preparation of financial statements of the company. However, issue of report in such a case is outside the scope of work. This is also wrong. रिपोर्ट तो इशू कर सकता है, लेकिन कौन सी रिपोर्ट इशू नहीं कर सकता? ऑडिट रिपोर्ट इशू नहीं कर सकता. रिपोर्ट ही कैन इशू ए कंपाइलेशन रिपोर्ट. ओके. एंड व्हाट इज डी? The responsibility of preparation is of company management, so CAP cannot assist management. However, he can issue a review report. This is totally wrong. This is totally wrong. So compilation engagement, students आपको अंडरस्टैंड करना है, compilation engagement वो होती है जिसमें कि प्रैक्टिशनर सिर्फ मैनेजमेंट को उसकी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स प्रिपेयर करने के बारे में हेल्प करता है. सो सच टाइप ऑफ रिपोर्ट इज नोन, सच टाइप ऑफ एंगेजमेंट इज नोन एज कंपाइलेशन एंगेजमेंट. कंपाइलेशन एंगेजमेंट में प्रैक्टिशनर रिपोर्ट इशू करता है, लेकिन ऑडिट रिपोर्ट इशू नहीं करता, रिव्यू रिपोर्ट इशू नहीं करता. He issues only a compilation report. He only states that I have compiled your financial statements on the basis of material provided by you. Neither he gives any sort of assurance. Okay. Clear, students? Now question number 3. क्या इस कंपाइलेशन एंगेजमेंट में क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है स्टूडेंट्स, क्या कंपाइलेशन एंगेजमेंट में SQC1 एप्लीकेबल होगा? क्या कंपाइलेशन एंगेजमेंट में SQC1 एप्लीकेबल होगा? Yes, students. Question number 3. In the above said scenario for issuance of signed financial statements as discussed in last para of case study. तो लास्ट पैरा क्या है स्टूडेंट्स? लास्ट पैरा जो है कंपाइलेशन एंगेजमेंट के बारे में है. तो आइडेंटिफाई द मोस्ट अप्रोप्रिएट स्टेटमेंट. तो क्या इस स्टेटमेंट में क्या इस सिचुएशन में कंपाइलेशन एंगेजमेंट में SQC1 एप्लीकेबल होगा स्टूडेंट्स? Yes, students, tell me. Yes, guys, question number 3. Yes, students. So as we had learned, guys, SQC1 is applicable for all engagements. SQC1 is applicable for all engagement. So third answer is C. SQC1 is applicable. It is applicable for all engagements. So be it compilation engagement, be it review engagement, be it audit engagement, be it a related service engagement, in all type of engagements, SQC1 is applicable. So answer is C. Third question answer is C. So this is the right answer. Okay. And question number 4. The banker of company has also requested for projected financial statements for coming years. The banker of company has also requested for projected financial statement for coming years along with the report from CA regarding these projections. To consider request of management, which of following standards issued by ICAI are relevant? So कंपनी ने उसको बोला है प्रैक्टिशनर को कि आप हमें प्रोजेक्टेड फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स भी बना के दीजिए और रिपोर्ट भी बना के दीजिए, एश्योरेंस रिपोर्ट बना के दीजिए. तो कौन से स्टैंडर्ड्स एप्लीकेबल हैं? क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. यस, जो प्रोजेक्टेड फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन है उसके लिए कौन से स्टैंडर्ड्स एप्लीकेबल होंगे? यस, for coming years. Yes, answer is D. Yes, right. Standards on assurance engagements. Standards on assurance engagements. SAEs. Standards on assurance engagement. Because why? These deal with prospective financial information. These deal with prospective financial information. Now suppose CAP also accepts work of issuing projected financial statement with the report to be signed by him. Suppose वो एक्सेप्ट कर लेता है वो वाला काम और प्रोजेक्टेड फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स में टर्नओवर प्रोजेक्ट की गई है से आने वाले सालों में 150 करोड़ 200 करोड़ एज कंपेयर टू प्रेजेंट turnover of 25 crore in current half year. So identify the most appropriate situation statement in this situation. So कौन सी ऑप्शन ठीक है स्टूडेंट्स? CAP has to satisfy himself regarding arithmetical accuracy of projected data. He has to satisfy himself regarding reasonableness of projections. He has to satisfy himself regarding arithmetical of data accuracy of data along with proper presentation. He has to satisfy himself regarding reasonableness of assumptions, underlying projected turnover, its consistency with actual disclosure and presentation. Yes. What should be the answer? Yes, there was confusion in question number 1, so we would read it once again. Question students, Gaurav, you are stating that you are it is not understood that management has asked you to prepare a projection stating that its turnover would be say 200 crore in the coming year. In the current half year the turnover is 25 crores. Okay, so CAP जो assurance report देगा उसमें what he would see? He would see about the reasonableness of assumption. मैंने पहले ही आपको बोला था. He would see about reasonableness of assumptions underlying projected turnover. Its consistency, उसका basis क्या है? Its consistency with actuals and disclosure and presentation. That all these things fifth His answer is D, that all the four things he would see. Okay. Clear, guys? So we'll revisit question number 1. Okay. Okay. The question asks you to, the question is asking management to issue a duly signed report for half year. So the question is talking about this para, about half year. The question is talking about this half year. Okay. So that is why standards on related services would apply. Answer would be C. The question is talking about this para. So I forgot this para because I had said that we will talk it about later on. So the question relates to this para. Okay, that is why question number 1 answer is also C, because I have not read this para. So regrets for that. So I had said that we would read this para later on. So so this type of mistakes occur, students. While answering questions based on case study, you first read the complete case study and then try to answer the questions. So sometimes we first jump to questions, but my request to you would be not to jump to the questions, but first read the case study and then also see what that questions relate to what aspects. Okay. Okay, guys. Yes, Devinder Singh. What is your query? Yes, Devinder, what is your query? No, you have probably left. Okay. Okay, guys. So now are you ready for some MCQs, guys? Are you ready from MCQs? Yes, Devinder, tell me what is your query? Yes, I would read your mail, Devinder. I would read your mail and answer your query. I am seeing your mail. Yes. Yes, Devinder, what is SQC? You are asking what is SQC? So Devinder, probably you had not heard that part of lecture. SQC means Standard on Quality Control. So we have already read about Standard on Quality Control. It is a separate standard for ensuring quality. So SQC is Standard on Quality Control. So SQC1 has been issued by ICAI. It is Standard on Quality Control. Okay, is that clear? SQC is Standard on Quality Control. So a separate standard which ensures that whatever engagements are undertaken by the practitioner, these are performed qualitatively. So this standard SQC relates to that aspect. that here the practitioner ensures that there is a system of quality control in his organization, in my organization, so that services which are rendered by me to the organization, these are qualitative, these are of high quality, these conform to all the regulatory requirements, these conform to all standards. So in this regard, standard on quality control has been issued by ICAI. Okay, so I hope you have understood the meaning of standard on quality control. Devender, have you understood meaning of standard on quality control? And you have to also explain, Devender, that standard on you have also to remember that standard on quality control, it applies to all engagements. Okay, it applies to all engagements. रितो स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन रिलेटेड सर्विसेज में भी रिपोर्ट इशू होती है, लेकिन एश्योरेंस रिपोर्ट इशू नहीं होती, कंपाइलेशन रिपोर्ट इशू होती है. ओके, so answer question number 1, yes. An engagement which involves sufficient appropriate evidence to obtain limited conclusion is known as which type of engagement? An engagement which involves obtaining sufficient appropriate evidence to limited conclusions, to obtain limited conclusions, is known as which type of engagement? जिसमें प्रैक्टिशनर सफिशिएंट एप्रोप्रिएट एविडेंस तो ऑब्टेन करता है, गैदर करता है, लेकिन लिमिटेड कंक्लूजन ऑब्टेन करता है. कौन सी एंगेजमेंट होती है स्टूडेंट्स को? यस, which engagement it is? Almost all of you have answered correctly. Yes, very good. All of you have answered correctly. All of you are writing B. So that is a correct answer. All of you are writing B. That is a correct answer. It is a limited assurance engagement. Where limited conclusions are obtained, it is a limited assurance engagement. Okay. And number 2, standards on auditing deal with what? Yes, students, question number 2. Standards on auditing deal with what? Standards on auditing deal with what? Responsibilities of auditor, rights of auditor, legally mandatory duties to be performed in company audits, legally mandatory duties to be performed in audits of listed companies. Yes. Yes, all of you are right. So these are easy set of questions. All of you are right. Standards on auditing deal with responsibilities of auditor. So standards on auditing deal with responsibilities of auditor. So these are right. So everybody of you has answered it correctly, students. Now number 3, a company requires CAX to perform agreed upon procedures to verify purchases from related parties. So it is an example of what? It is an example of what? A company is asking CAX to perform certain agreed upon procedures. Some procedures have already been agreed upon between the client and CAX relating to verification of purchases from related parties. Okay, so it is an example of what? Yes, students, it is an example of what? Almost all of you have written correctly. Yes, every one of you. And how Anjana, Miss Anjana VP, how you have written it as D? The correct answer is C, related service engagement. Now the correct answer is C. How you are writing it as D? It is a related service engagement. So what happens is that client and the practitioner, they have agreed before accepting engagement. They have, the practitioner has agreed that he would perform certain procedures. What kind of procedures are to be performed? This is also agreed between the client beforehand. Okay, and the agreed upon procedures relate to verification of purchases from related parties. Now it is an example of what? It is an example of what? It is a related service engagement. So it is an example of related service engagement. So it is an example of related service engagement. So clear, guys? So now as you are also asking to once to go through this test your understanding question 6. So we see what it is saying. Now read this question, students. CAP Babu is conducting audit of financial statements of Quick Buy Private Limited. So he was not able to obtain external confirmation from certain debtors due to practical difficulties and peculiar circumstances. However, such a procedure is mandated under one standards on auditing. CAP जो है वो ऑडिट कर रहा है फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स का, किसका? क्विक बाय प्राइवेट लिमिटेड का. ओके, वो एक्सटर्नल कंफर्मेशन उसने डेटर्स को नहीं भेजी हैं क्योंकि उसको भेजना डिफिकल्ट है और सच, लेकिन ये प्रोसीजर परफॉर्म करना जरूरी है. ऐसे ऐसे इसके अंदर ये प्रोसीजर परफॉर्म करना जरूरी है. सो उसके लिए उसने डिफरेंट एविडेंस पे रिलाई किया, लाइक ई इनवॉइसेस, ई वे बिल्स, बैंक अकाउंट पे कि उन पार्टी से पेमेंट आई है कि नहीं, और ही वाज रीजनेबली सेटिस्फाइड दैट ही हैज ऑब्टेन्ड द नेसेसरी ऑडिट एविडेंस. तो उसके बारे में उसकी क्या ड्यूटी है? व्हाट इज द ड्यूटी while reporting? Is there any duty cast upon him? तो स्टूडेंट्स ये कंसेप्ट हमने किया है अभी. आप बताएं मेरे को इसका क्या आंसर होगा? यस, yes, Rito, you are right. So he would have to mark the departure which he has followed. He would have to state like look, that I was supposed to follow this standard on this. I was supposed to follow this standard which required me to obtain confirmation from trade receivables, but due to these circumstances it was not possible for me to obtain confirmation, and I performed alternative procedures through which I have gathered sufficient appropriate evidence. So clear, guys? Is that clear? Is this question clear to you? Now Hiba Balal, you are asking that how last paragraph in the case study is a compilation engagement. Now what is the last para? लास्ट पैरा में स्टूडेंट्स ये लिखा गया है कि कंपनी आपको ट्रायल बैलेंस और फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स प्रीलिमिनरी फॉर्म में प्रोवाइड कर रही है। इसका क्या मतलब है कि कंपनी को फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बनाने में प्रॉब्लम है। द कंपनी वांट्स योर हेल्प इन प्रिपरेशन ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स, सो दैट इज व्हाई इट इज ए कंपाइलेशन एंगेजमेंट। सो रिमेंबर, कंपाइलेशन एंगेजमेंट में भी प्रैक्टिशनर रिपोर्ट देता है, बट वो कंपाइलेशन रिपोर्ट देता है, कोई एश्योरेंस रिपोर्ट नहीं देता। ओके yes, Bhavika, again you are asking what is departure. Departure means one thing is to be followed. What is prescribed in standards on auditing, it is there to be followed, but however because of certain reasons it is not possible to follow that procedure. So the what is the duty of auditor? The auditor would state this, that he has not been able to follow this thing, and what that he has performed certain alternative procedures which gives him sufficient appropriate evidence. Yes, he can rely on other process, but remember that by relying on other process also he has to obtain sufficient. Test your knowledge 6 I have already explained. No, yeah, Rituraj, the bank has not asked for an assurance report. It has only asked for a report. Remember the finer point of difference. The bank has not asked for an assurance report. The bank has only asked for a report. Now that would be in nature of a compilation report. Okay guys, so this chapter is over, chapter number 1 students, and on Friday we shall be starting a totally new chapter, chapter number 2, that relates to audit strategy, audit planning and audit program. Okay guys, so thanks to all of you for listening me patiently. Thank you guys, so it is over for today. So it is over today.